Hello, everyone, and welcome. As you can see, I'm not Scott Kelby. Hi, I'm Vanelli, and with me right here is Liesl. We're taking over the grid for Scott and Eric, who are in Greece.
Yep, Santorini.
And we have these on because we're going to try to hear them through Skype. So I believe we have them on Skype. Can we check in with them?
Look how
look at
beautiful.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
That's beautiful, Scott.
It's a beautiful view.
Thank you. So we found this secret place that nobody else knows about.
Oh, wow. Oh, you guys look like you're having fun. Did it freeze?
Yeah, well, this ties perfectly into our topic today, which is on education.
Yeah.
Well, here's Eric.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Eric.
Halfway around the world.
Oh, my connection went bad.
Oh, no, there you are. You're back on, Scott.
Poor connection.
God, that is so beautiful.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
I hope you're having a great time on your workshop.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous here. We are having a ridiculously amazing time. We got a great group of people, except for Eric Kuna, and no, I'm kidding. We're having a ball, and we've been staying busy. And listen to this, Mr. Kuna. This is crazy. Let me turn my camera around. All right, listen to this. Tonight at 3 a.m., Mr. Kuna is taking 8 of our participants out for a Milky Way shoot.
Nice.
At 3 a.m. in the morning. We've got a van. It's a half an hour from here, and he's gonna make them get up. And at 3 o'clock, here's what I have planned: to not be there. I'm gonna be sound asleep. Do not come and wake me up. I'm sleeping in. But here's what we're doing now. We're at this location that you just saw. We're going to head to one other location. Then we're going to a sunset shoot with a couple of bottles of wine, and we're going to wrap up this day in style.
Nice.
Sounds great.
Well, thanks, Scott. Thanks for checking in with us.
Have a great time.
Thanks for sharing.
Have an amazing
Thank you.
workshop.
We appreciate you guys sitting in for us. And I don't mean that in any way. So,
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks. See you guys.
All right, see ya.
Well, this is great because
Yeah.
this ties exactly in. Now we can take these off.
I'm gonna take
now.
this off. I need to hear you.
Oh man! All right, so that ties in perfectly with our topic today, which is laboring under correct knowledge and how we apply that luck to our photography.
Yeah.
And we talked about this before. Were you
Yeah.
formally trained as a photographer, or was
Yes.
it self-taught?
I went to college for fine art to become an art teacher, so I started with that. And then I did receive my master's of photography later.
Nice.
Yes.
Now,
So
which
I have
school was that? Was that?
a Sir Gemelli.
Oh, okay, well, sure. Gotcha. Okay, so here's the thing. When we're talking about luck, labor under correct knowledge, back in the old days, yes, a lot of people went to college because there's a lot of courses on it. And then after a while, when the digital era started to kick in, those courses were few and few.
Yeah.
There's still RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. Daytona is another one. Ringling, which is here in town.
Sarasota,
So there's a few that they actually have. And if people want to pursue that career, they can go that route. Or another option is learning, laboring under correct knowledge, L.U.C.K, finding the luck. And this, if I want to show you this here. So here we are, learning under correct knowledge. And most photographers' learning path, and I'm sure both of us went through this.
Yeah.
You start out with the YouTube first.
Yeah.
You go onto the Facebook groups, and you pick up as much as you can.
Yes.
On those
online.
free platforms. And they're free for a reason. People are out there sharing their knowledge back and forth. But what that does for you is the next one. It introduces you to camera clubs. And you go out and you start to talk to other people in camera clubs.
Yeah.
And you start to understand more and more about photography, but you're still not there yet.
And that camera clubs were big. They were big in my story.
And we got to get the camera clubs back
and seeing
on
people
track.
in person, seeing photographers in person. So you have
Exactly.
people to help you in person.
And then now what ends up happening is you end up on paid sites. And the paid sites, you have Kelby One, LinkedIn, and there's a few others, but Kelby One, back then it was the National Association of Photoshop Professionals, right now. And you start taking classes with Kelby One, and now all of a sudden you're introduced to all these incredible photographers that are out there. In fact, you have a class
Yes.
on Kelby One.
Yes.
Right?
About selling prints.
Yep.
Yes.
And and that's how I learned about you, was through Scott because of
Yes.
this. Well, now what just happened is now you're opening up your range of talented people that are out there in this world.
Yes.
And you start taking the classes on Kelby One, and you start to say, oh, wow, this is really cool. I love it, but you're missing something.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in and you start taking like the one-day seminars. And a lot of those instructors that are on the Kelby classes or on different platforms, you start to build a bond with them.
Yes.
And you're like,
Connect
oh, wow.
with them.
Right? And
Yes.
And that's where you start taking maybe their one-day course or their two-day course. But keep in mind, how are you, like with all your knowledge on printing and fine art sales, how can somebody get that in one day? Right?
Oh, you have to go someplace where there's a class.
Yep.
You can't just get that online because it's all over the place.
Yeah.
You want someone who's experienced in the topic to get you there faster.
And,
right?
and that's where
what
that
Kelby
learning under
classes are
correct
about.
knowledge. So
Yeah.
now you're excited. You learn, you start following these instructors, and you pick up things from them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Then you end up taking the 1 or 2 day workshops with them, but you end up joining organizations like PPA or ASMP or SPE. And in the moment, we're going to have Dixie Dixon on, which, wait till you hear, she's just so motivational. And she'll tell you the best advice one of her instructors gave her was to join all the organizations for networking.
Yeah. Connecting with people, connecting with other photographers is so important in your learning experience and in your career. Like, you need it in all
Aspects.
points of your career from beginning to pro, right? Connecting with others.
And then you're about to graduate into the larger events. You know, that's
Yeah.
the WPPI, Imaging USA, Texas School. Well, now you go to these huge conferences, but keep in mind, these huge conferences are just that. They're huge conferences. The goal of the instructors on stage is to teach to the masses. So they look at somebody who's just starting out, somebody who's a pro, and they try to condense their material.
Yeah.
You know, into that. Now think back when you go teaching at a lot of events, you may have somebody who's brand new
Yeah.
to fine art printing, and then you have somebody who is extremely experienced. So you have to kind of like balance the two.
It's exactly, because you have to keep in mind everyone's at a different point in their learning experience. So that is something I dealt with a lot when I was an art teacher in the past.
Yep.
Is being able to connect with the students where they are. So yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And now you graduate. So people that start doing all these things, you start to network and you realize, wow, there's a lot of talented photographers out there. And what they're doing now, in this case, what Scott is doing in Greece.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has 12 people. They can only take a small group. That's where these photo tours come in.
Yeah.
And the photo tours are huge.
And you get more individual attention. Like, it's a great opportunity for learning.
Yep. So
Yes.
so what you just did was you went from the YouTube experience to where you're just watching something on your computer. Now you're actually sitting with those instructors.
In person.
Exactly. And you get to ask
At an
them
amazing location.
any
Like, can't
questions you
beat it.
want whatsoever. Now I know Scott has his, the Scott Kelby workshops. We have the Luminar, our company, does the Luminar Adventure Tours. Bobby and Lee Vars, Bobby Lane and Lee Vars, they do the Photo Adventures tour. But think about this. You decide, with all this knowledge out there, what do you want? Now, Scott's been doing, oh my God, Greece. He did Tuscany. He did all these
Budapest.
incredible places. And
Yeah.
everyone that comes back to these events come back and their photography literally just leaps started.
Yes.
They understand that they're not going to make the same mistakes as most people would if they start to learn on this stuff on their own. And in a moment, we're going to have, which I didn't realize, my buddy Jacob.
Yeah.
Boris, and Jim Nix. And in a moment, we'll have those two on. And that's going to be a perfect example to explain how, me personally, I'm not a landscape guy.
Yeah.
And I tried to go out in Scotland and do it on my own.
Yeah.
I got good shots.
Yeah.
Epic failure. Wait till you see what Jacob did and then what Jim Nix did when we were in Iceland. All right? Well, now, once you start getting into that stuff, the full circle comes in, and you do these smaller boutique conferences. Like Roberto Venezuela just did the Photos Creator Conference. And it was absolutely amazing. He took a small group of people, same concept, and we just were immersed in a location for like 4 days. And all we did was sleep, eat, breathe, photography, but you're ready for it at that point. Now, I'm sure you'd agree, if you're a new photographer just starting out, you spend all this money on your camera here, you're excited to use it. If you try to jump into, one of those boutique type education conferences, you're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You're going to get to the point where you're like, oh God. If you don't know about f-stops, shutter, your ISO, and you're trying to learn in this beautiful location, like Scott is in Greece, you're going to get discouraged.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you run the course, and what ends up happening is right there. If you want to take a screenshot, those are the mentorship is the final button. And I think you did that with Serge.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You had him as your mentor.
Yes.
You're ready for it at that point. As educators, my recommendation: start small. Get really good with what you're doing, and then once you feel, you know what, I do know the basics, these are the steps you could take to find what you're looking for.
You'll know when you're ready. And what's so nice about a lot of these different options is you can connect with other photographers in person and then develop friendships and a support system and other mentors, right? So,
and that's the key. Well,
and it's life enriching. It's not just about photography. It's life enriching.
So how I met Scott was, I thank Adobe for this. I called Adobe tech support so much that the other guy on the other end recognized my voice. And he said, for the love of God, this is not a how-to hotline. It's the program doesn't work. And I said, well, how am I supposed to learn this stuff? It's so complicated. And the guy goes, aren't you in Florida? And I said, well, yeah. He goes, there's a guy there named Scott Kelby, and he's running workshops. It was called KW Production, Kelby and Workman. And before Scott became the sensation all over, he did these little one-day workshops. And let's just say my hand was up constantly. And I just remember Scott going, oh, God, if you have any questions, anybody, ask at the very end of the session. But that's how Scott and I became friends. And I will admit, luck, laboring under correct knowledge. If I never found Kelby, I don't know where my photography skills would have been. Or my Photoshop skills, which led into the photography.
And I started with Kelby's books. I had a next door neighbor who was my photography friend, and she's like, have you ever heard of Scott Kelby? And I said, no, I just moved to Florida. She told me about his books. I got his Lightroom 4 book, and holy cow, that made a huge difference. And that was when I just started Lightroom. And it was a perfect timing, and it was just so resourceful. And anyway, it's just grown from there.
Yep. And so what we'll do is this. I do have Dixie Dixon. She wanted to be here live. I was just with her last week, and we were talking about education. And she was saying, talking about her path. And it's amazing, especially with people who've been in photography for a lot of years, to see what others have done to get to where they are. You'll be amazed. You'll sit back and
everyone
go,
has a journey.
wow.
We
So
all start somewhere.
I think we have that coming up is Dixie Dixon. She's an international and commercial fashion photographer, and I think we're queuing up that video in one moment.
Okay.
And we'll have that coming on. Here she is.
Oh.
Hello, Dixie. Glad to have you here.
Hello, it's so good to see you, Vanelli.
So, well, no, thank you. So our topic is on L.U.C.K, laboring under correct knowledge.
can't hear.
And we've talked about education. And
Yeah.
you're a perfect person to talk about this with. And I know we talked about before about being self-taught versus finding people to be, for you to mentor under. So let's hear the Dixie Dixon story. How did you become Dixie Dixon?
That's such a funny question. I love it though. Oh my goodness. I've been shooting since I was 12. This has been my ultimate dream to be a photographer. And when I went to college, I ended up majoring in business entrepreneurship instead of just photography. And so the way that I figured out this photography business was to assist other photographers and really get my feet wet, like in the industry, in the field. So I've had so many amazing mentors, and I actually studied abroad in London for a summer with Syracuse University. And man, that is when I completely fell in love with fashion photography. And so that's what I've been shooting ever since. I worked with a really amazing photographer and teacher there, Jeff Licata and Doc Mason, and they just opened my whole entire world. Like, I didn't grow up with any kind of connections or anything in the advertising space or the fashion industry. So that was sort of my first jumping off point. And then I came back and just started shooting friends, families, weddings, anything to pay the bills. And I ended up starting to shoot some models for their model portfolios, and that grew to shooting for designers and boutiques and ad agencies. And man, it's just been sort of a organic process, but I've had so many incredible mentors throughout the years. And, Matthew Jordan Smith, I actually waited in line after a trade show to speak with him. And I asked him if I could just, come along on some of his shoots when I'm in California. And so I contacted him, and he let me assist him on some of his personal projects in LA. And so that was just an amazing experience. And now he's a Nikon ambassador, and I'm a Nikon ambassador as well. So it's crazy how it's all come full circle. And yes, it's been such
we were together last week at Roberto Venezuela's the Portrait Creators event. And it was neat because I'm talking to Roberto and my phone rings and it's Scott Kelby. And I look over at you and you're jumping up and down. I'm like, you're Dixie Dixon.
I love that.
I go, Dixie, answer the phone. And you're like, oh my God. And I forget. We were all students at one point, and how much Scott has influenced all of us.
Completely. Scott has had the biggest impact in my career, and just learning from him, directly in his classes, as well as the classes that he puts on. He's made such a beautiful and huge impact in this industry. And I'm so grateful to him for that. And he's just an amazing person and friend. And it was very cool to get to talk to him because it's been way too long.
So people at the event were looking at me and I'm laughing and I say, I forget who my friends are. I forget that the world sees you as Dixie Dixon, him as Scott Kelby, and we're just friends, but we learn so much from each other, and that's where that whole luck concept comes in, laboring under correct knowledge. And if you got the luck, it's because you did it right. And I like how you talked about, you did the trade show circuits, you did WPPI, and then then you did hands-on. So once again, that shows your determination on learning your craft. And you mentioned something earlier, which I loved. You joined all the organizations, right?
I did. I had a mentor in college that said, if you're interested in a certain industry, go ahead and just join all the trade organizations involved within that industry so you can really get an understanding from these other business owners how to run a business. So I joined every single photography trade organization I could, like the student versions at the time, and I entered contests, and I ended up winning a couple of the contests and getting to go to these conferences for free at the time, which was great because I was just starting out. And so those contacts, I got to meet the marketing directors of so many of these amazing companies, and it really made a huge impact in my career. And I'm so grateful to have had that opportunity. So I definitely recommend joining those trade shows and getting involved in them. That will definitely take your business to the next level.
Well, that's awesome. All right. So if you have anything you want to say to Scott, now's the time to say it.
Oh, well, just thank you so much, Scott, for giving me the opportunity. I know I was on the grid many years ago, and gosh, I just love that experience. And you're doing so many beautiful things for this industry, and I'm just so grateful to him. He's an amazing person and soul, and just thank you so much for having me on today, Vanelli. It's such an honor. It's so good to see you guys.
You got Well, hey, thanks again, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.
Sounds good. Bye.
Oh God! So how motivational was that?
Yeah, that was amazing.
So again, the reason why I wanted to bring Dixie on is she's top right now in our field.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to see that everyone has a starting point, and now you have to hear directly from her way and how she walked all the way through. Now, if you want to get better, we're going to keep talking about education. Coming up June 18th and 19th on one. It has a landscape photography conference with Scott Kelby. Again, that's June 18th and 19th. And Scott has lined up an amazing group of instructors that you can come and listen to for the landscape conference. Once again, that's June 18th and 19th. And we'll come back after the break with more about luck in education.
We'll see you then.
Hey everybody, Eric Kinney here, and I'm here with another class on creative techniques for airshow photography. This is going to build off of if you've just taken a basics class, you've gone to air shows, you've got the basics down. We're going to go through these techniques that you can do to take your shots from just having a frozen plane or just having some prop blur to adding motion to your frame, putting intersecting objects with your frame. We're going to go through things about lowering our shutter speed, raising our shutter speed, using stuff in the foreground, using stuff in the background, different angles that we're going to shoot, taking our shots from just good, sharp shots to creative shots like this. So join me over in my class over on kelby1.com, all about creative airshow photography techniques.
Hi, my name is Liesl Walsh. I'm a professional photographer from Venice, Florida, and I'm here to teach you how to sell your prints online using Fine Art America. I absolutely love Fine Art America. It is so simple to use. So I'm going to show you all my tips, how I do it. I'm going to show you why it's good to sell online versus in person. There's a lot of benefits for selling online on a website. I'm going to show you how to upload a photo to Fine Art America and why it's such a simple process. And I'm going to show you how to organize your website so that the eye buys. You have to drive traffic to your website. So I have mastered this over the last couple of years. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. I'm going to show you some fun analytics. I have some fun stories, exciting things. I just can't wait to share all of this with you because I want you to be able to sell more of your art online very easily. and very successfully worldwide with museum quality prints. So come join me in my new class exclusively at Kelby One, How to Market and Sell Prints Online. I can't wait for you to join me. Let's get together. I'll see you there.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
And we're back.
And we're back. Welcome.
So we love giving out prizes.
Yeah.
And at first I thought these were for us. But no, they're not for us. So leave comments in the chat, and when you do, you're going to be winning one of these fabulous prizes. We do have the Platypod, the elbow from Platypod. How do I do that? Photoshop, and it's one of Scott Kelby's books here. But again, in order to win these, you have to leave comments in the chat. And the last one is the Photoshop book for digital photographers by Scott Kelby. So again, if you want to win one of these prizes, please leave your name or make comments in the chat, and our team will select from one of you. All right?
There's a couple more.
Wait, there's more in there.
Yeah.
Oh, V-flat.
The
Fire away.
V-flat. And on one, No Noise 2023, Retouch for Me Mattifier, and 1 year of Slick Pick Classic
Awesome.
Gallery Plan for new customers only. So a lot of great prizes here today. So let's see who's going to win them.
I should have my glasses on.
I know.
Thank you. We have this huge teleprompter off to the right, which I'm not used to, so thank you for catching that. Well, there's a lot more prizes, and when they're not looking, put those V-flats and a few of the others in our car when we leave. No, that's for you
check my
guys.
car.
We'll give it to you guys. All right, so those are the prizes. Now, back to the education part. This next video you're going to see, this is Amanda Lusant. She's in from Brazil.
Oh, wow.
So the reason I'm going to show you this video is I came across posing. I wanted to work with posing. You know, Scott does posing classes, but like Roberto Venezuela and Jerry Konis are like masters at posing. I wanted to find somebody who could teach me how to pose for everyday people. I mean, no offense, look at you. You look really good. Heavier people like me have a special, they pose special. And Amanda, I found her on Instagram, and we made this incredible connection, introduced her to Scott, and now Scott has her teaching Kelby One classes on posing. So let's play Amanda's video, and we'll touch base about that in a moment.
Hello, thank you. Hi, everyone from The Grid. Hi, Scott Kelby. It's a pleasure. See you again. Hello, Mr. Vanelli, my godfather. It's a pleasure. See you again. Thank you for having me here in this wonderful place, wonderful program with you guys. Thank you for this. Yes, I deeply value education, especially teaching models and photographers how to pose individuals of different type of bodies. And I've been sharing this knowledge, on internet and on Instagram at the Pose Academy. And thanks to Scott, I can keep sharing this knowledge around the world through the Kelby One. So thank you, Scott, for this opportunity. And thank you for giving me the space to share this important knowledge and posing techniques. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you guys.
Oh, God, she is so delightful.
Yeah, really nice.
So, but that's another example. Here I am as a pro. I have no problem reaching out to other people to learn how to do things that I'm not perfect at. Posing, I'm good. I'm good at posing my clients and subjects I've worked with, but I want to see what else is out there. And when I came across her on Instagram and just her spirit and the way she helps women who've been abused. She teaches them how to build their self-esteem and their confidence. She works with people of all different body shapes on how to pose for the camera. So again, luck, laboring under correct knowledge. So I chose her because, not just because she's got 300,000 followers, it was the fact I watched her content.
Yeah.
I went, She knows
Yeah.
how to teach this stuff. And as an educator,
Yeah.
you know that's the most important part.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali was one of the most greatest fighters of all time. His trainer was his trainer was Angelo Dundee. Well, Angelo Dundee trained Sugar Ray Leonard. He's trained Mike Tyson. He himself was an okay fighter.
Yeah.
But look what he trained. Whereas Muhammad Ali is a phenomenal fighter, but he doesn't know how to teach fighting. And so it takes that rare educator that can do both. That can teach it
Yes.
and then walk the talk in.
That's true.
So thank God, and I'm so glad Scott has her as part of the Kelby One.
Yeah.
All right? So now, this tying into the education, I am going to be a little more vulnerable for you, and I'm going to show you my pitfalls, even as a pro, how I screwed up. And I believe we have Jim Nix coming up now. In fact, we have to put our
Oh, so we can hear him.
these on here so we can talk. There he is,
Hello. How are you, Vanelli? Hi, Liesl.
Hello.
Jim Tiberius Nix.
That's not my name, by the way.
But Jim, notice I'm wearing, look at this. Just for you, I'm wearing these monstrosities.
Yeah, it looks really, really good on you, too.
Just for you, Jim Nix. All right, so Jim, I have you on because we went to Iceland. We did this incredible Iceland tour. And I would say, oh, wow, look at a nice rock. Wow, another nice rock. Oh, wow, same rock, different location. And I couldn't get into what you were doing, right? And then what did you do for me, Jim?
Gosh, what did I do? I was going to make a joke, but I guess in reality, I just tried to share the way I look at a landscape.
Exactly.
And, honestly, it's obviously you're a portrait person kind of by trade, but like there's not a lot of differences in terms of approaching. You want the composition to be fluid, you want things to look nice, that sort of thing. And so I feel like it's not that far apart. And so I just kind of shared with you some ideas and things about how to frame it. And obviously you ended up getting some great shots.
Yeah, well, it was neat because you led by example. That was the key part.
The shorter way of saying
Now,
it,
do you happen to have any of your images with you ready?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to share a screen or?
Or do we have it in the studio? I know I gave them your images. Whatever's best. See if you can share the screen.
I can sure try. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, you've got it. Okay.
Beautiful. Look at this
Oh,
shot.
wow.
Now, I got the same. I got the identical shot. I'll tell you why. Jim, where are the holes in your tripod? Oh, they're right here?
Yeah.
Okay. And I stuck my tripod literally in the same hole.
Yeah, I like to call that a comp stomp.
Oh, that's funny.
So,
Yeah.
but look what he did for me. And
Oh,
so,
that's stunning.
what was neat, Jim, seriously, is I did this because now I saw what you saw.
Yeah.
And then you said, okay, now look at the flowing. I learned more from that, maybe 15-minute interaction, Jim, that we had, than I could have tried it on my own.
Yeah.
There's no way.
In person really helps.
So that's awesome.
It does, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I wanted this shot so bad.
Yeah. I was standing next to your cousin and helping
Uh-huh.
her. And she got some beautiful shots from that spot. I was with her that whole time. It was a little slippery coming up the stairs, but it's well worth getting wet for that kind of view. And of course, the sunset was outstanding.
Look at that shot.
Clearly.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, all famous locations in Iceland that we had attended on the Skylum, the Luminar adventure, But
Oh, look at this shot. So
yeah.
I this was similar. One of the shots I saw Jim do, he walked into this freezing water and
Yeah.
grabbed a piece of an iceberg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "What are you doing?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh," but it was neat that he didn't. At first, I thought, "Well, God, look at the luck. How did he come across that piece?"
Yeah.
And I realized, no, he made it happen.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us what you did here, Jim.
Yeah, well, so that was a sunrise on, it's called Diamond Beach in Iceland. I'm sure there's an actual Icelandic name for it, but it's commonly known as Diamond Beach, based on the fact that these chunks of ice just come floating from the lagoon and end up on the beach. And we happened to be there at sunrise, and it was just beautiful light. I was actually standing next to one of your well-known folks, Serge Romilly. Serge and I were there, and other folks. We were, all co-leading this workshop for the Luminar team, and everybody was lined up. And I think a lot of us got a very similar shot, but yeah, I mean, it was just, I kind of went for non-traditional here, which is kind of framing it right in the center, but I liked how the water was flowing. And this was just 1 second at f/18. So fairly tight aperture and just 1 second. And all you do is you wait for the water to reach the peak of where it comes into the beach. And as soon as it starts receding, trigger the shutter. And that 1 second, you just capture it kind of flowing back out. And anyway, it's
So I'm laughing because Jim and Habi-san slapped my hand so many times. Like I was like, what am I missing? They go, guys, wait, Vanelli, wait for it. And when the water came in, and as soon as it was about to go out, I was clicking too soon, and they kept slapping my hand, going, Vanelli, for the love of God, time it. But this is what I'm talking about, how you just educated us, Jim, in 30 seconds on you want a shot like this. F-stop was what you said, what, F-16?
18.
F-18,
yeah.
and then you have 1 second exposure, and you corrected me because in the past, I was trying for like 5 to 10 second exposures, and Jim is like, why are you, because I heard someone say that to me a long time ago. Was that person a professional? No. Were they as good as Jim Nix? No. So there's that, I didn't labor under correct knowledge.
Yeah.
I got bad info, and look what happened.
Knowing those shutter speeds gives that the experience of it artistically. You know what how many seconds is going to do to water, because this is what I do all the time. I photograph at the beach. I totally get it. 1 second, you like to see some of the movement in the water, but still have it soft.
Yeah.
I love playing with that.
But thank you, Jim.
Yeah, me too. I used to always do a 10 stop for waterfalls, and I get this really silky smooth, but then you lose all the definition in the water. And I kind of like the definition because it kind of, I think it gives the viewer the implied movement or motion of the water without losing it all. So there's definitely times when a 10 stop, like a 2-minute exposure, looks fantastic. But a lot of times for waterfalls, I've just gone to a half a second or 1 second or something like that.
Yeah, it changes the mood. Changes
really
the mood
does.
of the image.
So the number one thing when you're learning, you gotta put away your ego and yourself, I know all this stuff. You got to put that stuff away and be willing to be a student. Because all great instructors are great students. If you want to become a great instructor, be a great student first.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the word curiosity, right? And so I feel like I've learned a lot about photography by being curious. Some of that is, how do I do this? And I look it up on the web and I find Scott Kelby and I'm like, I want to learn from this guy. So that's some of it. Some of it's asking other people when I'm out shooting in the early days. And then like on workshops, I mean, I'm learning stuff from the guests and they're like, well, how do you do this? I'm like, I don't know. Let's think about it. And so we kind of figure it out together, so it's, I think you're always learning. And that's the fun of photography.
And I will say real quick, Jim got to meet Scott Kelby at Utah. And I said, I forget, this is Jim Nix. This is Scott Kelby. I keep forgetting some of my friends don't know each other. And so Jim is like, I can't wait to be Kelby. And I said, Jim, no fanboy. So Jim is sitting across from Scott, and Scott's talking about England. And so I start flipping through all these incredible English photos from England, and Scott's like, Vanelli, you're amazing. I'm like, no, those are Jim Nix's photos.
Yeah, London's my favorite city. I've probably been 10 or 12 times. I've got hundreds and maybe thousands, really, photos of London, and I would just go there all the time if I could. It's fantastic, super photogenic.
Yeah, I did say to him, having him and Scott doing a tour in London would be like, oh my God,
amazing.
Absolutely
I would love it.
But Jim, thank you for your friendship, and honestly, thank you for your education and helping. We're going to take a quick break. Then when we come back, we're going to come back with our good buddy Jacob Bors, and we have another story about Scotland. And I'm hoping that this is helping everyone understand how education helps. All right, we'll see you in a bit.
We'll see you in a minute.
My name is Rami Kazemi, and I'm an award-winning landscape photographer currently residing in Canada. Now, I have traveled the world and seen some of the most beautiful landscapes on this planet. I've acquired a signature look and a lot of techniques when it comes to post-processing throughout my photography career that has landed me where I am. These techniques are very, very essential. If you've ever wondered how does he do that, then this class is for you. Because I'm going to include all of the essential techniques that I've learned. These techniques have proven to be rock solid over the years. We're going to replace the sky, basics of luminosity masking, how to use luminosity masking to target your adjustments, color adjustments, dodging and burning, and a lot of other essential techniques that you need in your workflow. Believe me when I tell you that this is going to be all you need to take your landscapes to the next level. So wait no longer and come and join me on my latest class at kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
And we're back,
And we're
everyone.
back. Hello.
I do want to give a couple of shout outs. Luminar Coffee Break, my team is actually watching this as a group. So instead of having coffee break today, they're all watching this as a group. And I know Fine Art America,
Yes,
your
a lot of friends on Fine Art America.
Yep,
Welcome,
I know a lot of them are
everybody.
watching,
We
so-
will be talking more about that in a little
Yeah,
bit.
thank you guys for watching. And we have a couple shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, there's some nice comments we've gotten in the chat. Josh Hill says, hello from rainy DC. James Gordon Patterson says, I greet you warmly from Phoenix. Claudia Baldessera says, hi from Sarasota visiting. Stuart Greenberg says, hi all from rainy Long Island, New York. Mike Worley says, hello from Louisville and hi Liesl. Peter Goris says, hi from Antwerp, Belgium. Kimberly Townsend Heising says, hi from Michigan. Hi Liesl. I just saw Kimberly recently. And Mary Bell says, Robert Vanelli, nice to see you. And Jim Nix says, thanks for having me on the show. Welcome, everybody.
All right. Well, now we got these on again because we have our next guest, Jacob, who Boris is a phenomenal photographer, landscape photographer. Here he is in
Jacob.
the UK.
Hey guys,
Hello, my good friend.
how are you everyone?
Hello.
So I got a little excited because I jumped from Iceland after that tour with Jim, and I met up with you in Scotland because my first attempt at photographing the Scottish castles, it was okay. I did good. It wasn't like I came home thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. My good buddy Jacob here said, Vanelli, let's have some fun. So what did we do, Jacob?
So what we did, we met in Edinburgh actually, and Edinburgh is quite specific because it has a few nice photography spots, but they're just very remote and they are very specific. So really the knowledge Vanelli needed is that we need to actually go somewhere completely else. And that's what we did. So we hired a car, or actually we got a friend who's
Yes.
going to drive us. And we
Mark.
went on this epic journey of 6 hours drive on the other side of Scotland. to the West Coast. And I've been living there. I used to live there for about 6 or 7 years, so I know the place from the back of my head. I photograph it over and over. And that made it so much easier because we were able just to go spot by spot, go out from the car, take a picture, and then move on. And this way we covered so much and came out with some incredible photos.
Yeah, we had a great time with Mark and his beautiful wife. And oh my God, the drone footage you guys got was absolutely amazing. But some of your tips that you gave me, I loved the idea about Photo Hound. You know, showing me some of these spots. What was that tip about Photo Hound you like?
So I think the research before going to a spot is incredibly important as a part of any photography, but for travel photography specifically. And one of my favorite tools for research is a website called Photo Hound, which I think now has almost 10,000 photography spots around the world. And before I travel, I always go there and I search by location, and it gives me an ideas on what I can photograph. And on the top of it, each of the place and photography spots also has the information about what camera gear you're going to need, at what time of the day you should photograph it. So sometimes I realize that maybe that specific spot is actually not good to photograph at that time of the year. So that way I can skip it and move on to some more important places.
Gotcha. Here's some pictures for us.
Yes.
Yep.
If I manage to share my screen.
Yeah, so these shots were absolutely amazing. I even took one from the team. We had a collapsible bench thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They kept telling me don't twist in it, but I kept twisting. It collapsed live. Oh, here we are. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
This was the absolute beautiful.
Beautiful
Just
lighting.
briefly give us pretend we're all there right now, Jacob.
So this is actually in the center of Edinburgh, near a place called Market, and you can just kind of go through a little street which will lead to these steps, and it creates this incredible composition which basically you have the leading line and you have the foreground of the street, and then on the top of it you have the Edinburgh Castle, which I think is epic. And it's one of these spots I discovered through Photo Hound. So yeah, this is a real example of how you can find a place you didn't know about.
And you made me wait. Vanelli, wait till the lights turn on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was key.
Yeah, it's
So-
a magic time.
Yep.
Exactly. I think the time is the second most important thing.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely for landscape and travel photographers. And we love the light during golden hour, blue hour, sunset. And this is almost blue hour once the light just went on, and I think it really works nicely together.
Yeah. Really nice.
Then we also went here, if you remember, on top of the hill, which was an epic hike, but definitely worth it. That's on the top of Edinburgh. You can actually then point towards the city and end up with results like this. So that was really cool. That's the Edinburgh Centre during the blue hour. So when I mentioned the blue hour, that would be a great example. You arrive, it's still dark, and everybody is away and sleeping or getting ready for their breakfast in the hotels. And that's when you photograph and you get a place like this without people. And then when you come back, people go out, and then you can enjoy the empty restaurant in a hotel and have a good sleep and shower.
Yeah.
Now, go back to that one more time. But the angle shot, I love the angle you did there. You kept the low angle.
So this is actually panorama. It's a combination of 3 different shots.
Oh.
Simply because I like to photograph wide, but eventually if you shoot too wide, the subject becomes quite small and distorted.
Yeah.
So this was a prime example of using I think 3 or 4 shots, then merging them together using any panorama tool, and ending up with a result which is, I think, much more realistic, and you get much more dominant subject, like in this case.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's still Edinburgh. Let's just go to the Harry Potter Bridge. That's also on the west coast of Scotland. Really famous viaduct in a place called Glenfinnan. The train actually goes across twice a day. And again, coming back to Photo Hound, I found out on Photo Hound that you have to be there at least 1.5 hours before to get a good photography spot. So we went 1.5 hours before, and there was nobody there. So we got incredible place to photograph it. And then within that 1.5 hours, I think about 1,000 people arrived.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. All these hills you see right behind me, they were just covered with people, and we would never get this shot without that knowledge. So that's why it's so important.
Wow.
This is with the drone. Again, drone capture.
Nice.
yeah, a little bit of reflection, and so on, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this with us.
No problem.
And again, there was no way I would have gotten any of these shots if I didn't have him with me. And Mark and his wife. It was absolutely amazing because, again, you have somebody who grew up, well, you didn't grow up there. You lived there for a while, and he knew every place to go.
Yeah.
And, of course, he knew which food to eat, which was very helpful for us. But there is that, again, you go with people you know.
Yes, yes.
Now, hey, Jacob, thank you so much. We really appreciate being on. Now, our next topic we're going to discuss now is, what do you do with all of this?
Yeah.
What do you do with all this incredible knowledge? This is where Liesl comes in,
Yeah.
and you're going to talk to us about how we take these incredible photos and print them.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
So thank you, Jacob. We'll see you soon,
Okay,
my good
guys.
friend.
All right. Nice
Bye-bye.
seeing you,
Take care.
Jacob.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, now we can take these off. Good, and so everything that we're talking about right now leads up to our next two topics, and that's creating incredible art, prints
Yes.
with them, and you're going to give us all of this incredible information on that. So, it's your
Let
time.
me show it. Oh, okay. Let me show it now. So yeah, I just created a class at Kelby One about how to sell your prints using Fine Art America. It's a platform I've been on for about 9 years now, and I absolutely love it. It's a very user-friendly platform, and it's worldwide. You can sell prints worldwide, and it's museum quality prints. So I absolutely love this platform. So I made a class about it, and it's going really well. So I'm teaching students how to use a platform, build a website, and then how to market.
That's
Because
the
really,
key.
if you, I mean, you could have the most amazing website, but if you don't market and bring people to your site to see your prints or your images, it's going to be hard to sell. So that was a lesson I learned the hard way. But anyway, my class does go into detail about that, but I could share some of the nitty gritty. Like,
Please.
there's 5 main points that you need to do. So do you want me to share my little thing now? Okay, so let me bring it up. Just give me a second here.
Yeah, because we were discussing this earlier. It's like, remember the old days when your name came in to the telephone book and you're so excited, but who's going to find your name in the telephone book unless you direct them where your name is in the telephone book? So what you're going to do for us right now is she's going to show us that using this incredible service, how to also get people to see your stuff.
Yes.
All right, so
Yes.
here we are. You got the screen
Okay,
going?
so there's 5 things. There's 5 things to keep in mind if you want to sell prints online. So the first one is you really need to have a strong portfolio. You start with your images themselves, right? You start creating stronger images. You work on it. You train with other educators to take better images themselves, right? So that's the first thing you do. You want to make your images stand out. So something that I have learned is if you can create images that stand out so much that the images themselves grab the attention of viewers online, that alone is going to be very powerful. So the 2 images I have here on my screen, I have a parrot and a flamingo. I have sold these images in person very fast. Oh, is it not showing? The white one? Okay. Oh, okay. All right, try that again. Is that working? The black one, okay. Little tech issue here. Okay.
Oh, there we are.
Is that working? All right, hold on. I need to
There we
go
go.
back to, okay. We're good? Okay. All right, let me just go back here. Okay, we're good? Okay. Point number 1 is to have a strong portfolio. You want your images to stand out online, so when someone sees the image, they immediately want to buy it. And I have sold these both of these images that way, where I had 2 prints I was showing someone, and the person's spouse immediately said, I want to buy them. And so anyway, buyers buy on feeling. So if you can create images that have strong emotion, then people will connect with them and want to buy them. So then Oh, okay. So let me scroll down. So the second thing you want to do is build a very strong website and only post your best work. Now, this is something I learned over time. So I have 2 websites. I use Fine Art America to sell my prints, so I do my entire portfolio there, but still only my best images. And then I have a second website on SmugMug where I just show 20 images of each category to show clients and, for business. But for prints, Fine Art America is what I use. So only post your very best work, because weak images will not help you at all with your image online. Number 3 is you want to arrange your website so the eye buys. So you want to make a very first strong impression. You only have seconds, literally like 3 seconds to impress someone, because people will go off very fast, right? So you put your very best images at the top of your website. You rearrange your images so that they look good next to each other by color. And you can arrange your images in collections so people can find a certain topic very quickly. So that's something that's really important. You really want to impress visually how you arrange your site.
Nice. And you're doing that on Fine Art?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes, and I do the same thing on my SmugMug site, but on Fine Art America too, and my Kelby 1 class shows how to do this.
Nice. Yeah, my
Yeah.
I have SlickPick. I use SlickPick Portfolio.
Yeah.
So on my SlickPick site, I do the same thing. But I have hidden ones that I want my clients to see, but then, like you said, the best of the best
Yes.
should be in the forefront.
You got to have your very strongest images at the very top as the cover of any collections you have. You want people to see your best work so they're impressed right away, and to tempt them to keep looking on your site. 1 week photo, they're off your page.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So the next thing you want to do, number 4, is you want to drive traffic to your website. This is the most important thing because if you don't bring people to your site, you're going to, hold on a second.
Yeah, so if they're not coming to your site, well, then no matter how great you are, they're never going to see it.
Yeah, this is a lesson I learned the hard way when I first started on Fine Art America. I wasn't bringing people to my site or showing links to it, and I was just putting them up, hoping someone would discover me, and of course, nothing happened. So I learned the hard way. So I learned, on social media to post links to my images online, and
Well, okay,
boy, did that
I do
help.
like to say, on your social media, what I like is I don't see any you don't do hard sell.
No.
When you do on social media, it's
Yeah.
like you're like, hey guys, I did this, but it's like matter of factly, you're like, oh, and I get curious, let me click on this.
Yeah, I'm very subtle. I have a very subtle way of selling online. I'm not pushy, and you don't have to be pushy
Yeah.
to sell, because, and this is what my number 5 point is, believe it or actually,
okay.
actually, we'll get to that in just a second. But when you drive people to your website, I always do the Pixels personal website on Fine Art America because there's no other artists on it, so they keep your eyes only on your art, so you make it easy to get to your website in 1 click. But this is number 5, and that's what we're talking about. This is why I don't get super pushy on my social media posts when I try to sell. Is I'm trying to connect with people on a social level and develop trust, because maybe it's a slower process to get sales, but I'm in it for the long run and a long-term relationship with clients, right? And I have been able to develop a very large audience this way. So the main thing is when you do your social media posts, you want to do meaningful posts. You educate, you entertain, and you inspire. And you do posts that are authentic, informative, and meaningful, and they will do better on Facebook in the algorithm. And I'll tell you, I have done some pretty salesy posts during the holidays, and not as many people saw them. Facebook knows. They know what words you're using, if you're using sales or buy, whatever. Not as many people see them. It's called social media, right? They want they want you to write something that's going to engage people, and they want people to comment on your post. So the more engaging and the more stories you write, the more comments you get, the more shares you get. And then guess what? If you have a link to your website on that post, your website is going everywhere on social media. I've had some pretty viral posts when something connects with the audience. So that's the main thing, is just connect with people online, find people who love your topic. For me, it's local art in Venice and Sarasota, Florida. And it's just wonderful, just on a social level, to connect with a lot of people, and you end up selling a lot of prints.
Before you get nervous, I always have the Italian Catholic guilt trip. Oh my God, I'm making money at this stuff. Yes, there's nothing wrong with making money at it.
Exactly.
Because then it lets you go out and do more things. And keep in mind, a lot of people that are looking at your artwork, they wish they were there. They wish they could be in that location. So you're feeding a service to people and helping them get out of the house or get out of where they are, even if it's in their mind. So that's just absolutely amazing. But like I said, I love her work, and I love the idea. Now we do, thank God, we do have two. We have Alex from Fine Art America, and we also have my good friend coming in from Zeno, Haley in from Zeno, and that's just another way to where you take the stuff that you have. In fact, I'm not sure if we have, let's see, who do we have up now? I think we should have either Haley up next. If we do, we'll touch base with her. What's neat about this is you're able to show us how to do these prints, and that's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Now what we'll do when we come back, we'll make it real quick. We'll talk about how we can make these prints into photo albums, and we'll be talking about that right after the break. All right?
All right, see you back.
Hey everybody, Eric Cooney here, and join me in a new class over on kelby1.com all about night photography, and specifically Milky Way photography done in one exposure. This is a technique where we're going to use low-level light painting. We're going to use dim lights set in color balance to the Milky Way. We're going to position them around our scene so we balance the Milky Way exposure and the foreground exposure together in one exposure, so no stacking, no tracking, no compositing, no nothing. You can take your shot and your scene behind here and make it into this. And that's what it's all about in this class, is taking these lights, mixing them together, and harnessing the power to tell that story on the foreground and the Milky Way, all in one exposure. So join me on that class on kelby1.com, all about low-level light painting in one exposure.
I am a portrait and wedding photographer based in Valencia, Spain.
I do mainly commercial and editorial photography, and I retouch up to 100 photos a month.
We shoot almost every day for all kinds of clients, such as commercial, beauty, and fashion. And we retouch our work more often, like every other day.
I used to spend over 1 hour for one photo.
If we want professional results, we must remove skin blemishes, do micro dodge and burn, highlight eyes, whiten teeth, and even reduce wrinkles in clothes. And this can easily take me up to 2 hours of work for each photo.
So when I saw that there's a plugin for Photoshop that helps you retouch quicker, I was eager to get my hands on it.
I read many feedbacks about it, and I found a lot of positive reviews, which made me to consider buying my first plugin.
One of the challenges we have at the end of a session or wedding is to achieve an edition in our photograph that looks natural. This is where retouch for me has become a game changer.
I love the feature that you can pick how much effect it has on your photo, and you can adjust it accordingly to your style.
I saved a lot of time and always end up having amazing result with my work.
I am extremely happy with the quality.
Now, I am more efficient and have more time to spare with my family.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Hello, everyone, and we're
Welcome back.
And you can see we have another Skype guest coming in, so we'll have these on in just a moment. It was funny because this is really the first time we got to meet.
Yeah.
And I know you were a little nervous when I said to you, you know what? Let's call Fine Art America and get them out of here. Like, really?
Last minute? Okay, let's try
Yes.
it, right?
So-
and boy, it worked out. I'm so happy.
Yeah, we want to
I
give a
am
good shout out to
so
Abby.
honored. Yeah. I want to say hi to Abby Shores, the manager of Fine Art America. Thank you so much for connecting us to Alex and running a wonderful platform at Fine Art America. I want to welcome Alex Young with us, who's Skyping us.
There he is. Hello.
Hi, Alex. Thank you.
Hey, nice to meet both of you. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Good. Now, if you could just give us a brief overview of what is Fine Art America?
Fine Art America is one of the largest art and photography marketplace sites in the world. So we are home to now over somewhere north of 700,000 individual artists and photographers. And increasingly, we partner with and run the web commerce, e-commerce sites for big publishing partners like Condé Nast, Getty, Sports Illustrated, Time, Life, and a lot of other big publishers.
Good. Well, I love the fact that you guys have a platform for professional photographers and photo enthusiasts. Because if photo enthusiasts are like, you know what, I love these prints, and you've seen some of these photo enthusiasts, they say, I'm not a professional. So you know what I usually do? I give them $1 and say, here, now you're a pro, I just bought your print. Now stop saying you're an amateur. Because a lot of these photo enthusiasts go to these incredible locations, and now they have a place, because of what your company is doing, is letting them print those images, not just for themselves, but for worldwide.
Yeah, selling it worldwide. And the museum quality prints are so stunning. I have looked at other printers. I have yet to find anyone even half as good as Fine Art America. I am in love with your prints, and it's just so nice as an artist to say that I'm proud to have my images printed on Fine Art America, and I have full confidence that all the prints will look beautiful for my clients. So it's been a wonderful experience for me.
Good.
That's always great feedback
Yeah.
to hear. That's what I spend a large amount of my time here doing. That's the side of this space I come from. I worked for one of those print partners prior to joining Fine Art America 8 or 9 years ago. So I know how important that quality and consistency is, especially since we work with best-in-class partners at 16 locations around the world. So making sure that archival matches location to location, making sure that the specs that we list on the site match what either your order is going to come in at, or likely a client order is going to show up looking like, is obviously very important to us.
Yes. And
Now, what advice will you give people just starting out? 'Cause I'll tell you right now, I know where a lot of photographers, they don't know what to print. So they have so much, they want to print so many things, but then they say, you know what, I don't know where to start, and they just give up before they even start. So what advice would you want to give them?
Vanelli, is that question, what content that should they be offering on a site like ours? Like what should they have up?
Exactly.
Well, look, Liesl referred to leading with your best content, and I certainly agree with that. At the same time, part of the beauty, of course, of the on-demand e-commerce model is that it allows you to put up test content. Obviously the model is meant to be both self-service and very quick to get those images up, potentially call those new images out to your, as you guys have discussed, your audience, your fan base, the people that already know and support you are going to be the best ones to promote those to, and then you see how they do. So I'm a fan, and certainly a big part of our business is the long tail of content. But to your question, Vanelli, I would say as you get started, you tend to know what your best sellers are, and those are usually the ones you want to get up early, get some traction with, start to understand how things on our site work, and sort of move on from there.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think you mentioned to me earlier, you're able to set your own prices. Correct?
Yes, yeah.
You have a base price, and then you decide what the price will be. And and like I always joke about the Italian Catholic guilt trip, strip that, oh my God, I'm making a profit. There's nothing wrong with making a profit with what you're doing that pays for the new lenses.
Yeah, you're seeing it as a business. You're running it as a business, right? Great. So,
and to that point, I mean, look, you're out busy creating new content. Liesl, I watched your first video on Kelby One, seeing the opportunities to be selling in person at fairs and galleries. The idea with working with a partner like us is that we run that e-commerce business for you. Now, obviously, like you mentioned, you got to get the right content up on the right products, set those markups, which we give you some recommendations about when you start to upload those images on our site. But the ability to not just have your images viewed in our heavily trafficked marketplace sites, but also use the white label site that is, I would argue, a ridiculous bargain at $30 a year along with the other pieces that you get. But now you have a fully branded experience, because really in any other, and I know SmugMug well as well, any other platform type scenario, well, SmugMug is a little different because they don't have their own marketplace, but consider other places that you could do this. You're only ever going to be able to send traffic back to your profile page on their site. And in this scenario, where you're using the fully branded white label site, it has just your name on it, just your content, and you really are giving them the full branded experience of just your images.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, hey, thank you so much for being here today. This helped out tremendously, and I'm glad a lot of people are exposed to there's different avenues that they can take. And that was our whole concept today, Alex, was luck, laboring under correct knowledge. And if you have the luck, it's because you're finding the right people, the right resources, the right things to do, just to make different things you're doing come true.
And my luck was discovering Fine Art America 9 years ago. It has made a huge impact on my career. I can't thank you guys enough. It has supported me financially, but it has been a pleasant experience and a great networking experience connecting with other artists around the world. So I highly recommend your platform. I can't get enough of it. I'm constantly talking about it to my friends and online everywhere.
Well, thanks again.
That's really great to hear. I appreciate it so much for having me.
No, you're
welcome.
Thanks
for joining
us.
Thank
you so much for joining us.
Anytime.
Okay.
All right, so we have one last thing we'll do is
Can
we'll talk
this
about
off now.
We take these off for a
No,
moment.
I can hear you.
So I think what we'll do is we'll touch base on Haley from Zeno.
Okay.
And because now we just showed you how to do these incredible prints. Now, what's stopping you from making incredible coffee albums?
Books, yes.
And it sounds funny to say this, a lot of your friends or family, believe it or not, would love to have a coffee book from you. As a gift.
That's actually a great idea.
And so what we'll do is this, we'll talk about Haley right now.
Put these back on.
Yep. Let's see.
All right, I won't be able to hear you, Vanelli. Only
Let's
Haley.
see. Haley, are you here?
I'm here, Vanelli. Hi, Liesl.
Hi.
My good friend, I love you so much. I'm putting these, if you can see it, these monstrosity of a headset on just for you.
Thank you. So you are so wonderful to me, Vanelli. It's beyond words right now. Oh, wait, am I out of frame? There.
There, I want to move. There, you're perfect right there.
There we are. We are. Okay,
now, so I met Haley, on and off. It's so funny because you always like staying in the shadows, and she always has her other people up front talking to me. But we ran into her at WPPI. The booth that they had, you could see from the space station. It was one of the largest booths that they had, and it was just amazing. But I learned about Zeno years ago was when you did the free offer. You said, hey, just pay for the shipping, and you get this, whatever book you chose. And I chose a hardcover 8x8, and you opened up, and it was lay flat. And I used it for my sports, and I think I told you I would take it everywhere to show people. People stole it. It was stolen from but the person returned it. They didn't realize that they stole it. They thought it was a giveaway. And it was neat. But with Zeno, so you guys do incredible albums, right?
Thank you.
So what would you recommend? So a new person starting out. Now, typically, Zeno's for large volumes, like wedding photographers, event photography. but it's also incredible for coffee books that people can make for themselves and give away as prize or give away as gifts to their family and friends, right?
Yes.
So, what would you recommend?
Well, I mean, I've been kind of like watching the show live, and seeing these photos from Liesl and Jacob, and I think Jim earlier. I mean, oh my God, those images are amazing and incredible, and I'm just like in awe of like, oh my God, we put that in print in like in a flesh mount album or even a fine art album, like on a matte paper. I think they would be so epic and gorgeous. So I think, I mean, I don't know. I learned about albums when I joined this company. I'm gonna admit it. I'm not a professional photographer. That's how I got this job though, because I was making a lot of photo books for myself, and the opportunity came along, and so I already love doing this, so that's why I decided to try. But what I learned about flesh mount album is something like this. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, stunning.
So
Very
like
nice.
this whole lay flat. So I was, ordering like these like press print books from like Shutterfly. These was like probably like 20 years ago, at least. And I was always remember having to design images like to avoid that, people's heads getting cut off at the seam and things like that. And I see albums like this, and I was just like in awe and impressed with it. So for me, my personal recommendation would be doing like flesh mount albums and fine art albums with like the lay flat pages. The thickness of the page, the rigidness, you can't really go wrong with it. You get your choice of papers between like, a personal favorite of mine is matte, but there's also definitely like luster and sometimes with the metallic paper, the colors on some of those images will just pop. So those would, it would be just like so gorgeous on all of those.
Yeah, you saw those prints. So, I was with Roberto Venezuela at the photo creator conference. And the very, very last day, now remember back in the day when the iPad first came out, us photographers put our portfolios on the iPad, and people were like, oh my God, that's amazing. The pendulum is swinging back to wanting print.
Yeah.
Nobody at the event. Now, Roberto had Canon come in, and everyone who attended printed one of their images. You should have seen their faces.
Oh.
The very, very last day, we're waiting for the shuttle to take us to the airport, and this young gentleman, I wish I had his name, we sat down, and he was a lifeguard, nonetheless. A lifeguard that does this part-time. He was the only one with a portfolio book. And as he's looking at it, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Guys, Zeno, and before I can finish Zeno, that's the company I used. And right when he said that, people touched the paper, people were like flipping through. Now they're not just looking at the photo, they're looking at the quality of it. But they all said the same thing. This was the first person that had an actual print in front of you.
Yeah.
So I do feel the pendulum is going back to the other side to where we want digital prints now. And doing it through Fine Art America, and then doing it through Zeno coffee books. I mean, my sister is the one who actually, I hate to say this, she's our gatekeeper. She, like you said, you make all these photo books. My sister, who's a photo enthusiast, does that for our family. I wish it was me, but she's the one who does all this stuff. Imagine having these coffee table books at Christmas or at Father's Day or Mother's Day, and your family comes to visit, and now they're opening up albums.
Yeah.
And they're looking at it, so.
Robert Norris has a good comment. He says, prints on paper are always better than just electrons.
Or Robert.
Absolutely agree.
Prints are so powerful, even small prints, and then seeing big prints, holy cow. It just makes a bigger impression than just seeing it on your computer screen.
So, well, what's the life expectancy of the...
These albums are made for a lifetime. So we offer a lifetime warranty on all our products that we sell. So anytime you have an issue, and definitely, I'm going to like, color is subjective. Anytime you're unhappy with what you receive from us, contact us, let us know. We'll work it out with you. So if we need to adjust the color on a reprint, no problem. Let us know, just let us know, and we'll work it out with you and make sure we get that product correct, because exactly, these are lifetime, these are heirloom albums.
Well, I love that because,
I like
you know,
that.
my parents both obviously, they passed. 1949, they got married. A 25-year-old and a 21-year-old. So imagine that age, two Italians, gorgeous, and I'm looking at these images. I have to go back, and I had to digitize them, and I had to go back and restore them because time took its toll. You know, 1949 till now, and they faded. The beautiful black and whites became gray and brownish. So I love the fact that this is a lifetime archival, to where, you know, people in the future can see these prints as they were meant to be seen today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So do you have any last words for us? And we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule being here with us today.
I want to say thank you for letting me be on this show and talk to you. So definitely, you know, I've liked, you know, seeing Scott Kelby around at the trade shows, and, you know, we met at WPPI, and definitely, you know, we synced up over the years as well. So I look forward to getting a chance to meet Liesl in person in the future.
Yeah.
So, and again, thank you. This has been fun. It's my first podcast, though.
I know. She's so adorable. She's this big power woman in our industry, and she gets nervous being on something like this, and it's like, you have no problem commanding groups of workforces, and you watch her at the show. She's like a dynamite, keeping everything in line. And then when I tell her to do something like this, it's like it's her kryptonite. But you did phenomenal.
You did great.
And like you said, and I'm so thankful. I think what drew me a lot too was the way you treat your staff, and just the bonding. And when you see it behind the scenes, you're like, wow, you know what? This is a really good company. What they preach, they walk the talk. And with your group, I see the respect that they have for you, and saw all the stuff that you did. That's why I have no problem telling people Zeno is the way to go when it comes to albums. So, but thank you.
Thank you for that, Vanelli. I appreciate it.
You bet. People are ordering the books right now. Now we can take these off.
Yeah, okay, I can take these off.
Is your head sweating from these two?
No, but I can't hear you very well when I have them on, so this is nice to have them
great.
off.
And I know we have giveaways. We have prizes to give away. Let's see. And look at some of these comments. Do you want to read some of them?
Yeah, some of the comments. Okay, I got Robert earlier. Margaret Dole Fallon says, I'm ordering a Zeno album right now. Margaret also said, there's nothing better than seeing your images printed. Definitely. Abby Shore says hello. Abby's the manager of Fine Art America.
And
she does
thank you for doing this.
An amazing job.
And I apologize for, it was less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
It was like 16 hours.
And a time zone. Yeah. Abby,
So
thank you so much, Abby. You are amazing. Sherry Keene, she's one of my friends and students. She says, hi, Liesl from Stuttgart. James Gordon Patterson waves hello from Phoenix. Dale Kincaid says, hello, Liesl from Cleveland, Ohio, and Fine Art America. I see Abby is here, too. Abby Shore says, hello. Daniel Orbidaner says, Liesl is an artist. I love her pictures, and she is such an inspiration. Thank you, Daniel. And John Dukes says, to those who have not watched Liesl's Kelby 1 class and you are interested in selling your photos on Fine Art America, please watch it. She is terrific. Thank you, John.
Awesome.
He's so supportive.
Now, it's cool. I love the fact, I love that you have a lot of loyal followings.
Yes.
Robert Norris is one of them for me, too.
Yeah.
Whenever we go to Las Vegas, he's always there to either pick me up, take the Skylum team out to eat. We just do different things together. But that's what I love about our community. And I love that Scott gave us this platform to be able to connect with the world. And a lot of these people haven't met him, but they're meeting him through a lot of the stuff that we do.
Exactly. So. Connecting with others is very powerful, and it makes an impact on your professional career, but also personally. It's just life enriching.
All right, we have some prizes.
Prizes. All right. You ready for prizes? Do you want to do it or me?
I'll have you do it.
Okay.
I don't want to squint like this all the way through.
I got my glasses on. Okay. Lori Giffens won How Do I Do That in Photoshop book.
Nice.
The book Photoshop for Digital Photographers, Ken Z won that. Sherry Keene, my friend Sherry Keene won the Platypod Elbow. Congratulations, Sherry. The V flat is won by Joe Goodrich. Cami Marshall Brazel won the On One No Noise 2023. Retouch for Me Mattifier is for Thomas S. And my friend Kimberly Townsend Highland won Slick Pick 1-year classic gallery plan, new customers only. Congratulations, Kimberly. And for winners, email gridprize@kelby1.com and claim by this Friday, please. So email them by Friday to claim your prize.
Awesome.
Congratulations, winners.
Great. Well, hey, I'm so glad. Well, so just so you know, Scott never gives up the grid. You know,
I know. I heard about that.
So I'm so honored. The only employees has ever taken over the grid. This is the second time that he trusted me. Scott, thank you so much for trusting me. And then when they told me you were on, and she said, how would you mind if she comes on and talks about prints? I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect.
It all worked.
It ties right into learning under correct knowledge.
It all worked out.
And I'm so glad we got to meet.
It's been a pleasure.
So
you're fun.
So you don't see the stuff that's going on behind the scenes after when you guys were doing commercials. So we want to thank our producer, Chrissy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you everybody.
For putting all this together, Juan and the rest of the team.
Everyone's been wonderful.
Yep, and then of course Scott is out in Greece.
Yeah, and Eric too.
So so the team is out there. So we want to thank everyone once again for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time on the grid.
Thank you,
See
everybody.
everyone.
Have a great week.